Welcome back to Shelly's Nest. We're very glad that you're here with us. We do want to point out that we are not very consistent in posting our videos, but I'm sure you guys have already noticed that. So if you'd like to follow along for the ride, and we're certainly happy that you want to, please not only subscribe, but hit that notification bell so you can be notified whenever we sporadically post our videos. Today's video is about our time at Ditto Landing in Huntsville, Alabama. We were here from October 9th through the 16th of 2021. The campground has two different sections. We stayed in the upper section, which is not quite finished, but the weekly rate was extremely reasonable. And they've got, I don't know, about 40, 45 new sites. They're also spaced far apart, so you're not on top of your neighbor. When we first drove in, we were wondering why these sewer covers were up so high. We thought that was a pretty dangerous hazard for all the RVs coming in and out. And then we realized they're prepping the roads to pave. So these are up high, so when the asphalt is laid, they'll be at the correct height. Pretty smart. And also behind me you see a little building. That's going to be the check-in for this part of the campground. Right now we had to go all the way to the marina to check in, which wasn't a big deal. There's plenty of room to put our RV back there and turn around and come back up here to this campground. The lower campground has a bathhouse. There's 3 bathroom stalls and 2 shower stalls, at least in the women's. I didn't go in the men's. On the other side of the restrooms is a pavilion that you can request to use for group events. The sites here can accommodate tents, small travel trailers, fifth wheels, large Class A's. It looks like they can pretty much handle any RV that you might have. The lower campground offers this playground for the kids. There's also benches on the other side for parents to sit while their kids are playing. And here's the marina part of Ditto Landing. And that's the office for check-in right now. People like to fish off the bank of the marina, and the geese like to hang out, hoping for a little tidbit. Those are okay. You have to watch out for the white ones. They come and charge at you. Alright, I'm going to give you a little history of Ditto Landing. So, pioneer James Ditto, he came around the Great Bend of the Tennessee River. He landed among friendly Chickasaw Indians in the area known as the Chickasaw Oldfields. Today, that area is known as Ditto Landing. James Ditto built a trading post, and by 1807, a ferry boat carried travelers across the river. Among the travelers, reportedly, were Andrew Jackson and Davy Crockett on their way to the Creek Indian War. Well, I just showed you the Ditto Landing campground, the upper section and the lower section, but what I did not show you was all the walking that we did around Ditto Landing. We walked around the marina quite a bit.
One of the nice things about this campground, even though I didn't have a lot of time off, is that there's easy access to walking trails. So in the morning before I'd start to work, or in the evening, or even during lunchtime, we'd walk around the campsite, which was a pretty big loop where we were, or we would take the morning to start a walk down the Greenway trail along the river. So those are really pretty. And we ended up walking through around the marina and checking out the wildlife, and there's a lot of nice walking areas. So definitely a nice area to come back to and check out.
We really enjoyed all of the trails, and it was beautiful weather, beautiful, which is why we spent so much time outside walking instead of trying to find museums and such. But there is a museum there that we would like to go back to.
Yeah, the Huntsville Space Museum. Checking it out. They even have their own campground, so we'll try to make arrangements where you can stay a little bit longer and stay a little bit closer.
We're on the Green Mountain Trail, and the first thing we see is a covered bridge. So I started wondering, why were there covered bridges? Why not just a regular bridge? The main purpose of a covered bridge is to protect the wooden structure from the weather. So uncovered bridges can last around 20 years, and the covered bridges can last up to 100 years. The Green Mountain Trail is located, you guessed it, on top of Green Mountain. It is a 1.5 mile loop around Sky Lake. Some things that we did see along the trail were the spring house, the chapel, the log cabin, and the covered bridge, which is the first thing that we walked on the trail. We spent a day at Monte Sano State Park. There's about 25 trails for about 22 miles of hiking and biking. we walked the South Plateau Trail, which was 3.5 miles, and its rating was easiest to more difficult. So there are 5 different levels of difficulty rating on the trails, from easiest to extremely difficult. So we were kind of right there in the middle. That worked well for us. No wonder these trees are so big. Look at the acorns they come from. Along the 3.5 mile trail that we took were several stops. They're kind of like covered benches, but they're a little bit more elaborate than that. Oh, well, here's a picture. So we stopped at a couple of those, one so we could have like a little hiking snack, and also just to sit and enjoy the view, because we were at the top of the mountain and it was just really pretty. After finishing the 3.5 mile South Plateau Trail, our intent was to walk the North Plateau Trail, which was just a little over a mile. But instead of doing that, we walked around the campground because we were very interested to see what that would look like. We still walked a mile, which was nice. The campground does have about 89 campsites or so. They also have a primitive area, and we found out that they are making electrical upgrades that began November 1st of 2021. Some of the sites have already been upgraded to 50 amp, but they were at the beginning of getting the other sites ready for that upgrade. Well, I really enjoyed our time in Huntsville. I'm glad that we stopped there. That was a place that DeWitt more or less picked out. A lot of times I'm the one that chooses our stops, but he looked at the map and he said Huntsville looks like a good place, and I'm glad he chose that. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you. Yeah, no reason. It was something different, and so that was the first time we stayed at a marina, and it was pretty neat.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do it again.
Yeah. Until next time.
Bye.